check. Hey everyone, how's it going? It's Claire. Let me know if this works or if anything sounds weird. Because what just happened before is I had to switch on my computer. My initial computer, just here, died. Ooh, but it's okay, we're back. Hi everyone in the chat, nice to see everyone again. I am not Abe Duque, I wish I were. But my name's Claire. And I am an instructor at 343 Labs as well, just like Abe. And welcome to 343 TV. This is the Friday show, Abe Duque's production Playhouse. I'm very excited to be a guest presenter here today. And wanted to kind of, it's funny, Abe and I were talking about this stream. He wasn't able to make it today, so that's why I kind of am filling in for him. We talked about this stream and we were like, this is we have to move forward with Abe's initially planned topic. He was going to talk about his favorite DAW, which is also one of my favorite DAWs, and I feel like the two of us are maybe the two people at 343 Labs who actually care very much about this DAW, or who care the most about this DAW, which is Bitwig Studio. So I'm very excited to talk about this today. Most of y'all who know me might know me from the Monday show that I host with 343 TV, and that's Tips and Tricks with my artist persona, sometimes-ish, Doll Trick. It's a pun on the name. But I mostly do things related to Ableton Live, which also was very exciting this week because we had a new version of Live get released. But I'm also a Bitwig Certified Trainer, so I'm an Ableton-Certified Trainer, as well as Apple Certified Pro for Logic stuff. But I also love Bitwig. And Abe was the OG Bitwig Certified Trainer. So when we finally got to meet, I was like, oh, it's Abe Duque. But anyway, that's my little fan side of things. Great to see everyone in the chat. I'm just going to pop over to the chat, say hello to folks. Hello to John, Enigmatic Onion, 343 Labs, Thomas behind the chat. Thank you again. Oh, before I forget, tomorrow we are announcing the winner for our $200 voucher giveaway, which I think is... It might be our Ableton voucher, I think. Sorry, I forget. Thomas, if you could remind, that would be awesome. But yes, don't forget to enter our giveaways, everyone. We have weekly giveaways. Woo! That's great. We want you to win. So we want you to get stuff. So please enter the giveaways. Hi to Kai, and Andrew, and William, and Billboard Shaw as well. Hello, greetings to everyone. Thank you for all being here. But yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about Bitwig today, one of my favorite DAWs. And I think when I first discovered Bitwig, or maybe even taking a step back, I always get ahead of myself. If you're joining us for the first time, welcome. We are 343 Labs. 343 TV is brought to you by 343 Labs. We are based in New York and Berlin and online, and we are a school that teaches music production and electronic music, and synthesis and mixing and many different kinds of DAWs. And we also teach things like writing, theory, composition, those sorts of things. Every day, we have 343 TV, which is hosted by one of our instructors. So, for example, Abe usually hosts the Friday show, so that's why I'm standing in for him. Tomorrow, on Saturdays, we have Selway's Techno Saturdays with the amazing John Selway. And then the rest of the days, we have myself doing the Ableton Live show. We also have Tetro, our creative director. We have Max, our co-founder, doing Theory Thursdays, which was yesterday. We also have Justin, who's another of our instructors, doing his show as well. So every day, programming at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. And by Eastern Time, we mean United States Eastern Time. But yeah, so we have daily programming. We also have a lot of community stuff, because that's really important to us at 343 Labs. That's kind of the reason why we started 343 TV, and also why we started the Discord server. So if you are not on our Discord server yet, please join us over there. There's lots of fun stuff going on. We have beat battles sometimes. Tetro and I helped to judge one alongside Max in January? Yes, January. Wow, time always passes so quickly. But yes, we have fun events. It's also a really good place in Discord to meet other producers who are like-minded and who want to keep improving in our community. So that's a good chance for you to get to know folks over there. Oh, I just saw Max joining. Hi, Max. Abe does look different today. He also sounds very different, right? I was thinking... So myself. But wait, am I Abe? Oh no. Maybe. But yeah, so that's what we do. Please join us over at our Discord if you're not there with us yet. But in the meantime, we're going to talk a little bit about, like I said, Bitwig today. This is what we're seeing over here. This is Bitwig. And a part of the reason why I love Bitwig so much is that no shame on the Ableton people, but I love the colors. It just looks nice. It kind of reminded me, when I first started using Bitwig, it reminded me a little bit of some aspects of Logic and also some other aspects of Live, of course. But I loved the colors of it. And this was, I think, when I first discovered Bitwig, it was back in the day, when certain elements of Live, Ableton Live, didn't look as lively as they do now. So compared to that, I was just like, whoa, the interface is so pretty. But yeah, lots of lovely colors, lots of lovely things that you can do with different settings of the interface as well. And maybe out of curiosity, I'd love to hear if oh my goodness, I had a giant brain fart. If anyone's used Bitwig before, let me know in the chat, in the YouTube chat. Because I love to hear from you, especially if anyone wants to share their experience with Bitwig. I will be sharing my experience with Bitwig too, and Abe was, I think, going to do so as well. Before I forget, though, before I jump right into talking about Bitwig, because I always get super ahead of myself, there is an awesome video on our 343 Labs YouTube channel that has Abe talking about his 5 favorite things about Bitwig. And I remember watching that video for the first time, and I was like, whoa, lots of really good highlights. And that was, I think, before I even became a Bitwig certified trainer. So that was like way back back then, or it might have been around the time that I was getting certified. But yeah, so I'm going to actually be talking about a couple of things that Abe mentioned in that video that also happen to be some of my favorite things as well. And maybe one of the first things to start off with is just this idea of all the customized panels of the Bitwig interface. So pretty much similar to most digital audio workstations out there. Bitwig lets you work with audio, lets you work with MIDI, albeit in different capacities than most DAWs, especially because of a feature that's called MIDI polyphonic expression, which is now available in more DAWs like Live, and GarageBand also has MPE, and even GarageBand. But Bitwig was kind of like the OG implementers of the technology in a very sort of smooth way, and for a lot of the time, that was why Bitwig would be my go-to for anything related to MPE, and also anything related to modular stuff. Like while I was prepping for this stream, I kind of just pulled out my Zero Coast, or my O Coast, or my No Coast, depending on how you say that. And I love working with hardware synths when it comes to Bitwig. It just puts me kind of like in a different mindset. And that maybe even speaks to something that I will circle back on a little later. But the reason why I love using different DAWs is I find that each DAW that I use puts me in a different place, musically speaking, compositionally speaking, artistically speaking. So because of that, whenever I use Bitwig, I find that my work that I do tends to be a lot more instrumental and on the more experimental side of things, which is great. I love going into this mode that's very different from maybe the more traditional stuff that I do under my artist project, which tends to the more quote unquote commercial sort of side of the music that I produce. But okay, cool. I see a couple of things for Bitwig. Yeah, Bitwig friends. Yeah. Awesome. Very cool. William Mindreaders mentioned, I love automations. All can be connected. Love the grid. Automations. I think you might mean the modulations, William Mindreader. Because automations you can actually do in pretty much all DAWs, but something that's very unique about Bitwig is the unified modulation system, which is one of my favorites as well. We don't see that over here yet. This is actually just the signal chain of my vocal that's coming into Bitwig. But I wanted to pull this up and show people because it looks very cool. If I don't click on that, if I click somewhere else, it's not going to show that. But yeah, so great. We have some Bitwig users. Ooh, Kai got a copy of Bitwig 8-track with a MIDI interface that you bought. That's excellent. Yeah, so just to put everyone on the same page too, Bitwig, like I mentioned, it's a DAW, but it comes with a kind of it's a little similar to, I guess, the light versions of certain pieces of software, but it's called Bitwig 8-track, so if you do buy certain controllers, it does come with that. I might be wrong, but I believe the Nectar series of stuff comes with that. It's a series of controllers. One of my other students purchased one and they were like, hey, it came with free Bitwig 8-track. So that's a place that you can get it. I may be wrong, but I think certain MPE controllers also do come with it because Bitwig, as we know, facilitates MPE. But let's just take a look at Bitwig in general and let's take a bit of a tour. So for the folks who have used other DAWs before, other than Bitwig, and if you're seeing Bitwig for the first time, maybe this even just kind of looks a little familiar to you. I'm going to close this up right now. But if I were just having this over here, going from left to right. This is pretty much like a standard sort of timeline in any kind of DAW that we might find. And this is what we call Bitwig's arrange view. So this is a good place to start, building out different kinds of arrangements in a linear form. Logic has this, Pro Tools has it as well. Live also has it. Live has arrangement view. Bitwig, though, has 3 main windows or 3 mix views that they have. Arrange is the first. Mix is the second, which maybe might look a little familiar to some of us who have used Live before. So to that end, Kai, yes, Nectar MIDI Flex, very, very cool. Nectar is some really great things. I remember the Impact was one of my first controllers, I think, or something like that. But yeah, here's the mix view of Bitwig, everyone, and maybe it might look a little familiar to you. It kind of mirrors a lot of session view in Live, but that's mix view. You can hide certain things over here and show certain things, and oftentimes when I'm in mix view, that's actually what I use it for. I just use it for mixing. So one thing that you might even find familiar over here is that I just hid the clips, and instead I have a how should I describe this? Yes, a column of all of the particular audio effects and devices that I had on this track. So this is almost a little bit Pro Tools-y. I don't know if anyone uses Pro Tools, but I do use Pro Tools, and I love seeing different kinds of inserts in this sort of linear fashion. So I love that about Bitwig. You can show things, you can hide things. It's very, very modular, which is, again, one of my overarching things that I love about Bitwig. I'm going to talk about the modulation system a little bit later, but there are so many moving parts that you can kind of show and hide and really customize to fit your own workflow too. So even though this is kind of what I showed you just now was the default, what I usually tend to do when I'm in mix view is I just like hide everything. I may even hide those, and I may make the meters bigger and so on. But yeah, so there's lots of really cool things that you can do and customize as far as view goes. Right now I'm showing you one monitor, but it is possible to use Bitwig in a 2-monitor setting with a larger display too, and there's lots of really cool things that you can do there as well. But in the meantime, let's pop this out again. Great. So we got the mix view, and then there's the edit view, which is currently empty because we don't have anything selected yet, but if you selected a clip, then you'll be able to see the clip over here. Let's get started though with some interesting things, maybe even from the arrange view, because one thing that I love about arrange view is that it's possible to have the mixer view. If you remember what I showed you just now, the mixer view of all of these different little boxes and stuff, it's possible to have that show up side by side. You can show the clip launcher. That's what we call this over here. And that was actually my default setting that I had up because that's usually how I use it. So you can have a series of clips that you would use as a workspace sort of over here that you could then record into the arrange view going on over here. But before I even get more ahead of myself than I usually do, let's create a new track. Let's maybe put let's actually go ahead and just do a new audio track, but I think maybe what we'll do is create some drum loops. So actually from the chat, if we could get a suggestion for a tempo, that would be great. And I know that there's always a little bit of a lag, so I'll wait for a couple of moments for folks to suggest the tempo. But if anyone wants to suggest a tempo, please feel free to suggest a tempo, and we'll decide what to do with it. The default tempo of Bitwig is 110 BPM, but let's maybe find something else that's a bit more interesting. So what I just did over here, everyone, while I was talking, was create a new audio track. I right-clicked, and I just selected the option to add a new audio track. You can also use Command-Shift-T. That'll create a new audio track. Let's go ahead and rename this track, and let's call it, let's do some drums to start off with so that I can show you a bit of how this side-by-side clip launcher works. Enigmatic Onion, thank you. Let's do 135, an excellent tempo. I'm thinking of maybe something garagey or maybe something even faster for house. Great. So now that I've got this over here, what I want to do is I want to populate a couple of these little cells, my little clips, with information. And the great part about Bitwig is that it does come with a lot of really neat built-in sounds too. They had a collaboration with Beatport. I don't know if folks are familiar with Beatport. If you know Beatport, let us know in the chat. But Beatport is kind of like a company that helps to promote a lot of electronic dance music, very popular amongst DJs for getting different kinds of sounds and different kinds of tracks. They have a loop pack that comes with Bitwig, which is very cool. So let's take a listen to a couple of these. Let's preview a few of these sounds. I'm going to just click on these little play triangles that are showing up next to each of these sounds over here. And the way that I accessed these was to just click on this tiny little plus button within a clip. This is something that is the contextual browser in Bitwig. So you know how sometimes in a lot of other DAWs, or if you've used other DAWs before, you'll see like a formal browser that's maybe in a panel. Bitwig does have that too, but it also is able to show you browsers from within certain sections of Bitwig that just automatically pop up. And that's one part that I love about it too. So let's click on this, the plus sign, and let's browse for a couple of loops. Oh, we got some nice ones, even already close to the 135 BPM mark. We got something that's 133 over here. It's called Pig Farmer. Ooh, let's see. Neat. Yeah, that's cool. So maybe I do want this. Maybe I want this to start off with. So let's hit OK. And we will see that the clip is populating the clip slot. We now also see that's a lovely red color. If I want to, I can always change the color. So maybe if I want to make this maybe purple or something. Purple's one of my favorite colors. So maybe I have some purple drums. But in my head, usually drums are actually red anyway. So I have a color coding system that I use. Great. So we got some kind of clip over here. Let's actually add a couple more. So we had the first Beatport sound. Let's keep choosing something from the Beatport pack. I think I saw something just now that was also at 140 or so. Yeah, great. Let's preview this. Oh, it's taking a second to... Nice. Kind of like half-timey dubstep sort of situation. Great, let's hit OK. It'll populate. Let's do one more, and then actually we can recolor each of these different clips a different color so that we can differentiate them. Maybe something a little slower this time, maybe? Of course it'll speed up according to the tempo. Oh. Let's see, maybe this. Oh, those are one-shots. Yes, okay. Pretty neat. Okay, let's go with that. Cool. So we got some good drums to start off with. And I just saw someone suggest another tempo. Sean 124. Maybe we'll get to there later. Let's see. We can do some tempo change stuff. But let's go ahead and just recolor these for good measure. Just want to maybe make this purple and make this one blue for now. Great. So for those of y'all who if you've used another DAW that allows you to do non-linear playing, so for example, Ableton Live or the latest iteration of Logic, then the concept of clips might be clear to you. I'll just do a quick overview of what this means. So each of these little slots over here, each of these boxes, contains now individual information about some type of audio. And that's really useful for us to do because then we can kind of play each of these different units in different orders, and we can kind of experiment a little bit with what we like to hear with this combination of drums. So for example, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to click on each of these little sideways triangle buttons to play back the clip, but I'm going to do this in a non-linear way. So I'm going to move from the first clip, then maybe go to the third one, maybe do the second one after that. So let's take a look and see what we get. Here we go. Yeah, cool. So as you can see, I was kind of jumping back and forth between each of them. The way that these were working is that when I launched another clip, when I played one of these clips, the other clip that was playing, the active clip, would stop playing and automatically be taken over by the next one. So that's a feature that a number of DAWs have nowadays to facilitate what we call nonlinear composition. So it lets you play things in a different order instead of just say from left to right in an arranger timeline. But because of this, we're able to record the sequences that we're using to play these together. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to stop this clip by clicking on one of these empty clip slots, and let's try to record a sequence of drums in. Might be interesting. So let's go ahead and click on the record button all the way at the top of Bitwig. This is going to let us record our sequence of clip launches, and let's see what we get. Cool. So I'm even recording there actually. Oh, I'm also recording my voice. Ooh. Let's see if I can record some stuff simultaneously. Ooh. Cool. And we're actually still recording in the arrangement timeline, so you can actually see the waveform of my vocal coming up, which is very cool. But we just recorded our sequence of drums. So let's go ahead and press the spacebar to stop recording. And now you can see that, yes, I stopped recording. I did record my voice over there, which is kind of funny. But we now have a sequence of drums that was initially different from how I played them through the first time, right? So this is a really great way of trying to experiment with different sorts of ideas. The cool part that I love about this too is that if I wanted to maybe switch things up or add maybe drums before or after, I can also directly drag clips from the launcher over here on the left. Oops. Instead of playing them, I need to click on the right place. I could directly drag the clip into the arrange panel as well. So that's going to let me very quickly bring ideas in to the right side. Also, my computer is a little slow today. I think it's because I switched over to the other one. But yeah, so that's an example of how to do this. What if I don't want to just have the clips wholesale though? What if there is a way to maybe mix and match a little bit between the information in the clips? So I'm going to go ahead and undo whatever I just did. Command Z will help you undo things as usual. Let's go ahead and maybe set the cursor here, but let's take a look at each of these 3 clips. What if I want to mix and match them a little bit? I wonder if there was a way to do that. Gee, I wish there were a way. And there truly is a way. So let's go ahead and just take a look at one of these clips first. I double clicked on the clip to be able to see it show up in the panel below that lets me edit it a little. I can, with audio, and also with MIDI actually, edit multiple clips at the same time and have a way of transferring information between each of them. This is something called layered editing in Bitwig that I'm a big fan of too. And this is the way that I used to do a lot of comping in Bitwig whenever I would do different passes or different, say, audio recordings. If I select all of these clips, so I'm holding down the first one and clicking, holding down the shift button on my computer keyboard and then clicking on the last clip, there's a tiny, tiny icon that looks like a stack of stuff all the way here on the left. And this opens up layered editing. So check this out. Now we can see all 3 audio clips at the same time. This is really good for not just looking at information in a sort of waveform type of visual, but it's also good to use to transfer information between different clips. So this is the part about Bitwig that is a little different from other DAWs. If you've used clip based sorts of composition techniques in other DAWs, most of the time when you have a piece of audio, that's all that it is. You can't actually edit anything that's within the audio, so it's almost like a full printed unit of sorts. But really, a clip in Bitwig is just a container. And what we think of in Bitwig as the information inside is what we call events. So there's clips and then there's events. You can have multiple events within one clip. So to that end, what if I want to do a little bit of mix and matching? So let's say I want to maybe delete this portion of my of my farmer clip, or maybe instead of deleting it, let's not delete it, but let's go ahead and take it away. I'm just going to highlight it, select its time, press Command X or Control X to go ahead and cut it, and maybe let's even paste it over here into where should we paste it? Let's actually even paste it right here in my dubsteppy section. So now the clip that I took from my farmer shaker thing, my pig farmer clip, is now in my dubsteppy clip over here. You can see that the waveform itself has changed. There is now a gap in the clip over here in the top launcher section, and now my dubstep clip has been replaced by that. So the waveform is also reflected there too. So let's maybe make a couple more edits just to switch things up a little bit. So these are all little events. Let's go ahead and what should we do with this? Let's duplicate this one. So I'm going to highlight the time and press Command D. Now we have a copy of that. And actually, let me make sure I do it right on the grid. Computer is slow today. That's all right. Great. Let's highlight that and duplicate that. Command D. And what I'm going to do with this one specifically, this particular event, let's go ahead and reverse it. So now, check this out. I have my snare. I believe that was a snare. And now it's going in the opposite direction. It's reversing altogether. And, ooh, wait, let me see. Is stuff going? For a second, things froze. If anything freezes, everyone, please yell. But hopefully everything's okay. And so now let's listen to the dubsteppy clip. My guess is that it would sound different. Let's see if I'm right. So let's take a look at it. Yeah. Yeah, layered editing. That's probably one of my favorite parts about Bitwig, just being able to do layered editing and clip stuff. I'm going to pause for a quick moment, though, everyone, because I am very aware of the time. We're at the half-hour mark. I wanted to kind of speak a little bit about 343 stuff, but also check out the chat. Andrew, Electro. Yeah, Electro. Very, kind of... I was almost going to say Kraftwerky. Not really Kraftwerky. Not really Daft Punky also, but on the note of Daft Punk, a sad week for all of us. They're no longer here. William, my grief a few years ago was the Warp audio. I see. Yes, the Warp stuff. The Elastic Audio stuff is very great too. So similar to a lot of other DAWs, everyone, as well. Bitwig will let you time stretch things or compress things. So lots of really fun audio manipulation things that we can do. Max, Clara, using the Stencil Morph today, they just sent us one to Berlin, and I'm looking forward to trying it out. That's awesome. Max, it's so fun. I used the first DAW that I used the Morph with was with Bitwig, just because it makes things really easy to record. And if I have time, I'll do like a demo of it. But yes, I got the Morph set up over here. The Morph is a MIDI controller, everyone. It's created by our good friends at Stencil. The Stencil folks are really awesome. Please check them out. They created this controller that's very pressure sensitive. And this is useful because Bitwig itself is able to take, like I said, MIDI polyphonic expression data, and pressure is one of those types of data that you can use to communicate with the DAW. So very exciting things. Yeah! So I might be doing this today. I'll see how much of this I can throw in like the remaining half an hour. There's so many things about Bitwig that I love. But yes, layered editing, one of the things that I love as well. But if you're just joining us, everyone, welcome. I saw the numbers change a little bit in the stream, so thank you all for tuning in. We're talking about Bitwig today, and while I am not Abe Duque, this is Abe Duque's production Playhouse. I am the steward of the Playhouse today, if you will. And usually Abe does a lot of really exciting things related to all his cool production tips and tricks. This is like a crossover episode. So please tune into the show regularly. It's every Friday at 1 p.m. Abe is a legendary like producer and DJ. If you don't know him, you should. He's awesome. Please listen to his music. Check out all of the amazing tutorials and content that he creates as well. And he is one of the most like awesome instructors that we have at 343 Labs. Everyone, of course, is very awesome, but Abe is like, yeah. So please tune in for the show. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know in the chat on YouTube. I'll try to keep my eye out on it. But because of the way that Abe and I kind of, I guess, commiserate on different sorts of DAWs, we thought it would be cool for me to kind of sub for him today for this particular show where he wanted to talk about Bitwig, which you might be able to guess from the title is probably his favorite DAW, or at least one of his favorite DAWs. For a number of reasons, it's versatile. This is something that I don't have prepped at the moment, but Abe did this really awesome demo of what it looks like to use Bitwig with a touchscreen computer, because I don't own a touchscreen computer, unfortunately. But if you have some kind of, say, Surface Pro or any kind of any kind of computer or device that lets you do touch stuff, you will even be able to use Bitwig in a touch sort of way that lets you play notes similar to how, say, Push is layout, Ableton Push. It's in a chromatic fourths sort of layout, so you're going to be able to use that to play different kinds of notes. That's another thing I like about that as well. Yeah, Andrew, dubstepping now. Enigmatic Onion. No news today. Unfortunately, there is no news today. I'm not wearing a suit. I should have found a suit to wear. Dang it, what a missed opportunity. I wish there were news. But I'll share news. What news is there? Well, it's not super Bitwig related, I guess, but Ableton Live 11 just came out on Tuesday. That's news for us. And maybe this is related to my 343 Labs announcement that I wanted to do. But 343 Labs, as you know, we are an Ableton-Certified training center, and we are in the process of kind of rolling out the Ableton Live handbook, which is formulated specifically, oh my goodness, my words today, formulated specifically for Live 11. I haven't had enough coffee today, as you can tell. It's formulated specifically for Live 11. If you subscribe to our YouTube channel and you turn on the notification bell, you will be notified of whenever we have new videos out for the handbook, and it's free. We wanted to make this available to folks around the world who were interested in learning live but maybe didn't have the exact knowledge of how to go about doing so. So it's a handbook with videos that are led by myself, and entire project was spearheaded by Max, our co-founder, kind of pulling it all together, and Tetro doing all of the video editing. So it's a cool project that we've been working on for a bit, and we're continuing to work on it and push out and share with everybody there. So please subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can click on the button. I think Abe mentioned this in one of the previous streams too, but we're nearly, I guess, almost on the way, in a weird sort of way, to 10K subscribers on YouTube. So please help us get there. Spread the word. We love to share more news with people. I guess right now we are at, I'm looking at the most recent numbers, we're at 8.63 K subscribers. So very close. Very close. It's just a matter of consistency and a little bit more. So spread the word, everyone. Thank you all for being a part of our community over here. But back to Bitwig. Oh, that's so catchy. Maybe that's a new project or something. But back to Bitwig. So we just taken a look at some of the drums. I showed you a little bit of the layered editing. So maybe we can even take a listen to what this first clip sounds like now. We're going to hear a space in it. Yeah. Sweet. And that's because we took it and we put it in the purple clip, right? So that's how we got all these different types of, I guess in a way, chopped and screwy things, but without being super choppy and screwy. This is a way that I like to do a lot of that type of thing, though. So if I'm ever doing a chopped and screwed sort of feel, or maybe a little bit more of unmetered types of things, I will often use the layered editing and just make different types of takes and different types of clips. But great. So we got those. We've worked with audio so far. Let's take a look at some MIDI stuff, just because I want to be able to show you one of my personal favorite features about Bitwig that a lot of people know that whenever I do Bitwig workshops or whenever I share about Bitwig, this is like the one thing that I love to share about. So, let's create, let's actually not do the device screen. Let's do this way. I'm going to create a new instrument track. So in Bitwig, the MIDI tracks are called instrument tracks because you'll have different types of instruments on them. And if I click on this plus button, again, remember all the lovely pluses that we have in Bitwig to add things in. I'm going to add in an instrument that came out with Bitwig version 3. So right now we are at Bitwig 3. We have several different like decimal point values after that for subsequent iterations. But starting from Bitwig 3, the software came with something called the grid. And it's totally deserves the at the beginning. I feel like anytime you give the name a name to any kind of item, and if it has the before it, it's like that's important, right? So Bitwig has the grid. Let's take a look at the grid. It works in both MIDI and instrument sort of settings too. But let's even go ahead and just use the browser over here. So I'm going to type in grid. Lots of things happening. Polygrid. That's what we're going to do. So I'm going to hit OK. And now we should have it pop up. Yeah, cool. So I would love to actually hear if anyone thinks that this looks familiar. Ooh, does this look familiar to anyone? And maybe I'll take a moment to pause for a second. But when I first saw this interface or this look, I was so excited. And in part, the grid kind of came into existence thanks to Dave Linnenbank, who is one of the wonderful folks at Bitwig. He was a big senior of mine. We went to the same college, albeit many years apart, but Dave is so brilliant. And the grid kind of came out of a love of synthesis. So I don't know if anyone's been seeing, if anyone knows what I'm talking about. I know the chat is always a little bit behind, but Enigmatic Onion said, the handbook is going to put y'all on the map. Oh, thank you so much. That really means a lot to us. Hopefully it turns out okay. I always get so nervous whenever I film videos. I'm such an awkward turtle. Like, yes, go by the Enigmatic Onion. That's good. Ableton as the Max for life. Yes, the Max for life. But maybe it's okay. I'll give everyone like I guess a quick spiel about this. But this is a modular environment that lets us mix and match a lot of different kinds of individual, I guess, components that we would usually think of a synthesizer having. And this lets us make really big types of patches in the grid. And by patch, all that I mean is a specific type of sound that's really useful for creating music, really, and sometimes it's more performative as the patches go. Sometimes they are a little bit more on the sound designy type of side as well, but lots of very exciting things going on. So let's go ahead and I'm gonna see if I can try this out. over here. Oops. Okay, cool. So what I want to do is click on this little folder icon, and instead of just playing with the default, which I can actually play for you now as well, let me just go ahead and check that I have the track. That's good to go. My morph isn't registering. It's probably because of my settings over here. So let's just check some controller settings. Do I have the morph up? I don't. Oh, yes. Let's turn it on. Is it enabled? Oh, how strange. My morph is plugged in, but it's not showing up. And sometimes it does this, so that's all right. Sorry, Senso people. Might be a hardware problem. Whew. That's all right. Even if we can't use it, we can still use our computer keyboards to play the sound, so that's fine too. If you hit caps lock, oh my goodness, caps lock on your computer keyboard and you turn it on, that is going to enable your computer keyboard for playing back any kind of MIDI notes. So, yeah, great. So there we go. There is our MIDI information, but let's dive back right into the grid and let's see what we can do with some of the things that are happening over here. Let's create some sound using a few of the grid presets. I love playing with these grid presets just because they're made often very thoughtfully, well, not often, all of the time actually, very thoughtfully to create some interesting types of sounds. So I don't know if this is too small for folks to see. It might be, but if anyone's able to see these presets that are listed here, I'd love to get a suggestion. Maybe I'll wait for a little bit, or I don't know if people can see this. But Max, yeah, ADSR, totally. That was like the envelope stuff that we saw. Yeah, Travarsi, hello. I think I saw that you just joined. Modular case in the DAW, totally. To be honest, Bitwig is kind of like the main reason that's saved me hundreds of dollars or thousands of dollars really buying a proper modular. I was almost about to, and then the grid came out and I was like, that settles it. I will no longer need a modular. I'm kidding. I will probably need a modular at some point, but I have my semi-modular here. I have my O-Coast. It's good. F1ZM, welcome. I think this is, I believe I'm seeing your name for the first time. This is Bitwig. So welcome if you're seeing this for the first time. And thank you, William Mind Readers, for also adding that to Bitwig Studio 3.4. Man, when Bitwig Studio 3.4.3 comes out, we have to do some kind of stream. Maybe Abe and I will do like a party or something. We'll be like 343 and Bitwig, like a crossover or something. Ooh, Enigmatic Onion, thank you. Abyssal Plane. Let's go for it. So I'm gonna click on this. I'm gonna hit OK. And let's see what we get. I'm excited. Every time I open up a preset, yeah, look at this, check it out. Whew, all of these modules. Fancy. Let's take a listen to what this sounds like. Oh, that's great. Okay, cool. I do need to up the volume a little bit though, so I'm just gonna go ahead and close out. Maybe bring this up a little. Yeah. Neat, cool. And to be very honest, one of the things that I use, present tense, Bitwig a lot for is working with my students and teaching them concepts about synthesis in general. The great part about using all of their presets is that you can basically see how people create synthesizers and how people organize sounds. For example, we can hear right now, let's take a listen to this for a quick second. We can hear some things that maybe sound a little bit watery. There's also multiple layers of sounds. So even just listening to the sound, we could guess that, hey, maybe there's a bunch of different oscillators. There is probably some kind of modulator, so an LFO perhaps. There is an LFO somewhere. There's definitely some filtering going on too. So we can hear all of these things in the sound. Now let's take a look at what actually went on behind the scenes. So hey, true enough, over here, got a bunch of LFOs already. It's like way up in front. Excellent. So yes, we have some LFOs. We have controls for using pitch going into whatever is in this particular patch at the moment. So that's this pitch in module over here. What else do we have? We have, an LFO doing some stereo spread. I know it always gets a little hard when it's translated over streaming, but maybe you caught some of that stereo image as well. And then, of course, we've got the routing for the envelope, some attack and release, a very simple sort of envelope. So not the full ADSR like Max mentioned. Usually, if you ever see ADSR anyone, it means attack, decay, sustain, and release. And those are 4 stages in an envelope or the shape of a sound that oftentimes a lot of synthesists and producers will use to create their sounds. In this case, we have a simplified version of it. So it's just attack and release. So A and R. A and R. That's funny. But yeah, we have that over here. What else do we have? Where's my filtery section? Ah, here we go. My low pass filter. There we go. And now let's see what happens actually if I click on this and maybe tweak a few of these macro parameters. So similar to a lot of other normal instruments that you might find in, say, other DAWs, like Logic has this feature, Ableton Live also has this feature. Certain kinds of devices or groups of instruments will give you smart controls that will let you manipulate some of the more relevant or poignant parameters that will effectively change the sound. So let's see what happens if we tweak a few of these over here, some of these knobs. Let's see, and let's see what we get. Nice. That's cool. We also got some uncertainty. Rate. Ooh, almost crossing into to FM modulation, ring modulation over there. Danger. Cool. Some reverb. Nice. We just totally transformed the sound as well, so that was very cool. That was one thing that I did like a lot more also about Bitwig compared to other DAWs. No shade to the other DAWs, sorry. But they have really good presets. They just come out of the box, and even just making a few tweaks can just be really inspiring. I guess a good example of this, and again, y'all know how much I love Ableton Live, but sometimes I would just pull up a sound in Ableton Live, and it could sound nice, but granted, like, you know, with some effects and stuff like that, but it wouldn't be as inspiring to use compared to some of my first experiences with Bitwig types of sounds. So even now, even just listening to the sound on its own, I'm just thinking, wow, this could be really awesome for effects. Maybe if I'm automating something over time, could use it as a sort of riser, or maybe just even like a neat little, if I bring it up into a higher octave, some types of like special ear candy sorts of moments could also happen. Too. So yeah, lots of good stuff over there. Ooh, I see a couple of comments. Travarsi, yes, modulars will suck you in. Yes, totally. Back when I was in school and like formally learning these types of things in school in my music technology program, one of my professors, who's amazing, Dr. Richard Boulanger, he's a big modular synthesis person, and he had a really good name for it. He called it Eurocrack. Instead of Eurorack modulars, Eurocrack. Totally, absolutely fitting. It's like you kind of get pulled into it, and that's maybe why I stopped at the zero coast, the no coast. I don't even know what it's actually called. I've heard multiple people call it zero things, or the no coast, O coast, the O coast. Maybe I'll call it the O coast for today. Tomorrow it'll change. But the only other thing that I have, or two other things that I have over there, my Workstat from Moog. That's the DIY build it yourself synthesizer. Then I also have the Bastille Castle. So those are the only two other like hardware things that I have at the moment. I actually used to have a very tiny set of racks, like a lunchbox, but I no longer have that for a number of reasons. Hopefully one day though I'll have like a bigger one, or maybe I'll just live with Bitwig, as you know. So maybe I'll do that. But yeah, totally, William. It's very great for teaching sound. Sounds like Slushy Water World? Yes, totally. Enigmatic Onion, it totally does. Like, lots of really cool stuff. Could be Aquaman's phone ring. Totally. Lots of really, really fun, like, things. And oftentimes, whenever you hear any kind of, like, sound that's very watery or very almost liquidy, in that sense, it's usually because of, like, some filtering and high-pass stuff going on. Great. I want to explore one more, possibly one that I've used before, which has a little bit of annotations, because some of these presets that have been made are very, very well constructed in that they also have notes inside them. We don't have one at the moment. Let's see if we can find one that does. If we don't find one, that's all right too, but let's just try our luck. I believe there was one that I forget the exact name of, but it involved chickens. Yes, okay. Laser little chickens. Great. And this one may or may not have the text in it too. It looks like it does not, but it does have an oscilloscope, so that's fun. Yeah, nice. So lots of really cool stuff that we can do over here. Whoops, accidentally did that. But yes, now you can actually also have visualizers here because each of these are modules too, right? So you have an oscilloscope there, kind of similar to how in real life you might have an oscilloscope too. I think IntelliGel makes a couple of really neat ones that I've used before, and it shows you the signal that is coming through. So some pretty neat stuff as well. So that's the grid. I love the grid so much. There is polygrid, which is the grid's first type of grid device. So this is more of like the synthesis stuff. If we wanted to add effects, then we have the FX grid. So let's go ahead and do that right now. I've got the instrument in front, which I'm pretty satisfied with at this point. Let's click on the plus button, the ever useful plus button. And in this case, I'm going to look for the FX grid. So FX grid. Here it goes. Yeah, great. There we go. There's the FX grid. Let's take a look at the FX grid for a second. The default is very simple because there aren't actually any FX in here yet, but let's pull up some presets. Let's look for the FX grid. Let's maybe try, let's try Glitch Machine. Let's see how lucky we get with this. Nice, cool. Lots of timing things going on over here. Wonder what'll happen. Yeah. You can actually hear a couple of these things already going on. Very cool. I'm going to go ahead and just lower the volume a little bit so I'm not hurting everybody's ears. But great, now we have options for different types of, even more performative types of sounds that we can use. So even with my chickens, I'm getting some of that stutter sort of thing. I don't know if anyone's ever used Stutter Edit, but this particular preset is emulating a little bit of that. So you have different types of divisions of time that you'll be able to stutter. And also some of these controls, right? These neat things. Let's see what happens if we chop up some of these laser chickens. Yeah. Nice, very cool stuff. I think I used to use this effect for, yeah, I actually did use it with the morph. So I used to do some pressure-related things with MPE to kind of do a little bit more exciting things performatively. That's a part of the reason why I also do like Bitwig more as a performance DAW too. In addition to the composition stuff, I both compose and perform with it as well. Oh yes, I totally skipped this. I think someone also mentioned this before too. But yeah, VCV Rack is an excellent tool as well to use. I don't know if people are familiar with VCV Rack, but if you're not, I highly encourage you to check it out, especially if you're interested in modular synthesis in general. It's a really great way to kind of familiarize yourself with different modules. And actually, my friends and I used to use it a lot, even to just think about a dream in a way about racks that we would eventually own with different types of sounds. But yeah, really great things in there too. Yeah, so let's go ahead and take a moment to think about some of the other aspects of Bitwig that I wanted to show. I'm not going to have time to cover everything here, sadly. But great, we have some of these presets over here. Modulators, of course, how could we forget, right? Let's go ahead and also pick maybe a different sort of sound. I do like the chickens, but let's pick a sound that is a bit more maybe melodic, or will let us do a few things. Guitar ballad. That's a good one. Let's go and see if we can get that up. Great, okay. Let's take a listen to how this sounds first, just with the effects and so on. And then let's figure a way that we can do some modulation. So let's hit OK. Computer's lagging a bit. Okay, no, it's back. Great. So I got this guitar sound now. Oh, that's pretty neat. Great. So it's a kind of like an arpeggiated sort of thing. We've got a sequencer actually in here, so that's the reason why I'm just holding down one note, and then we're getting multiple notes come instead of that. What I want to do over here is head to the left of this particular Bitwig device. So similar to how, we have specific names for different kinds of, say, instruments or effects, each of these little units that you see over here is a device in Bitwig. So if I click on the left side of the device, there's a tiny, tiny icon that looks a little bit like a circle with an arrow coming out of it, and that's actually a really, really apt icon, because this is going to show us the modulators that we have over here. And because this is a preset, we already have some modulation in here. What this means, though, is that we're assigning a certain parameter to control a specific, we're assigning a certain type of device, a modulator, to control another setting. So this could, for example, could be some kind of LFO, making something regularly change its pattern over time. So like cutoff, you could totally assign an LFO to that. What else could be good to assign? You could assign something random to maybe control chance as a different parameter. So that could be excellent as well. Let's see what we can do over here with some analysis of what's going on. And as you can see over here, we already have a few of these LFOs and types of other modulators working on specific patterns. So that's very cool. And maybe because of that, this might not be the best preset to show with. So you know what? I'm going to go ahead over here and let's swap out this instrument entirely. So let's do, should we do the grid? Let's do phase 4. That'll be fun. Oh, whoops. I think computer. It's so slow. I don't know if y'all can actually see this on screen, but like it's lagging behind quite a bit today. I will fix my computer for the next time. Maybe it's just because Bitwig is so awesome that it killed everything else. That's okay. If we need to, we'll see with this one, I guess. Yeah, and like my buffer size is all the way up and stuff. But that's okay. We can even see the effect of what's going on here. What I want to draw your attention to is if you can see this. Yeah, I think my mouse is showing up, which is okay, I think. Yes, okay. My mouse is showing up. That's great. Just checking the stream, making sure it's okay. This over here is already doing a couple of things visually, right? So check this out. I'm going to play a note. And you can see that there's some interesting things going on already with the types of things that we're controlling. And in this case, we've got some kind of envelope that's moving across. Very cool. But we wouldn't naturally get to do this in a lot of other DAWs because those DAWs don't have this system where each instrument or each device that you have is able to let you assign more of these controls to get things that are more expressive, more, I guess, I was almost going to say interesting. I guess it is more interesting. It's more creative, I think. It's more liberating. And that's part of the reason why I like using a lot of sound design stuff in Bitwig, because it's more, I get more inspired naturally by some of the things that come with the defaults. Also being able to just, hear different kinds of sounds off the bat, see the possibilities of what's going on with some of their presets that they have. So yeah, mainly talking about that, the unified modulation system, probably one of the funnest things the most fun, I don't think funnest is a word. The most fun things in Bitwig out there. Those are kind of like my top few, I think. I'm also kind of looking at the time. I know I'm so close to the end of the stream. The stream goes by so quickly, which is a little crazy. But yeah, maybe just a quick recap of some of the top things that I personally enjoyed. Some of the things that I guess maybe Abe might have shown, perhaps. So yes, Bitwig's integration with a lot of hardware stuff that you can do, the modulation system. Didn't do a lot of hardware. Maybe that's for a separate stream. Let me know in the chat if you would like me to return with another Bitwig stream. Maybe we'll do like a special, or maybe we'll have like a weird tips and tricks Monday show crossover sort of thing where I do that. But yeah, let me know in the chat if you want to see that. Love using it with hardware. Love using it with controllers for MPE. Love the layered editing. One of my more favorite parts about working with audio in Bitwig for this reason, and some of the neat reversey things that we did as well with the pseudo dubstep sort of section that we did. The grid in Bitwig 3 being a big part. Okay, computer's hanging in. No, it's all good. We're back. The grid being a big element of it. And I think it actually was because of the grid that Bitwig got nominated for a Tech Award, which are kind of like the Grammys of industry stuff in this vein. So they got nominated for that. I can't remember if they won or not, but they got nominated, which is really big. The grid was very good for that. And what else do I love about Bitwig? The colors, yeah, the interface, the overall interface, and just how it works in general, with how inspiring it is to look at the interface, maybe a little bit nicer than some other DAWs. Sorry. But yeah, so some of these quintessential sorts of elements. And I'm just going to check the chat one more time as we close out. I usually like to do a quick goodbye. Oh yes, funniest is a word. Thank you. No, funniest is a word. I said funnest. Funny. I know funniest is a word, as in Abe is the funniest instructor at 340 Labs. I think he is actually in Abe's way. Oh, cool. Some people would love to see more Bitwig. Excellent. Thank you for the feedback. I think that would be cool. Actually, and this even kind of is a bit of a throwback. We're currently in season 3 of Tips and Tricks, of 343 TV with all of the shows. But Abe's want to catch up on some of those. Everyone, go ahead and head over to our YouTube channel. We have the streams of that archived. arrived. So if anything that I mentioned at all today piqued your interest, I would love for you to make sure that you subscribe to the 343 Labs YouTube channel and check out those other streams too. I also have my own YouTube channel too under my artist project. That's Dolltrick. So in all lowercase letters, DOLLTR !CK. And you can also find me on the 343 Labs YouTube channel on Mondays at 1 p.m. We do the tips and tricks show over here, which now moving forward, since Live 11 is officially out, it's going to always be in Live 11, so that is very exciting. And hopefully taking a look at some of the more new features in Live 11. I was so inspired by the Inspired by Nature pack that came with Live 11 as well. So lots of really cool stuff to look forward to. Just saw a couple of really neat stuff coming from the chat. Thank you all for the wonderful feedback. Thank you all for tuning in. It's really great to see everyone. I hope you have a great weekend. Stay tuned tomorrow for Selway's Techno Saturdays, where we're announcing the winner of our giveaway. And John is also going to talk about Vital, which is one of my new favorite synths as well. So very excited for that to happen. But yes, in the meantime, everyone, I know that I should be closing out right now. Sorry. I'm getting signs to close up. It's like, wrap it up, Claire. Wrap it up. But I'll see everyone on Monday. Have a wonderful weekend, and thanks for tuning in to 343 TV. Bye.
Morning light, break me through the dark. One so bright, show your dying star. Cold as ice, piercing through the heart. Warm the skies, melt the days apart. Wanna hide away, try to run away, tell me if you could save me. Got me falling through ashes.